Personally, I feel like I haven't really experienced my culture to the standards I want to reach, to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring this element into my work. I definitely want to go back and see the culture it is now, because what I have in the back of my head is like a 5-year-old. What do I know then?
Me around no more. I've been linking with CEOs. Told you my time is rest assured until I see me some checks and O's.
Hi, beautiful souls. It's your girl Lebene, and we are back on another episode of Chop It Up with Lebene, a show where I speak to people who inspire me and we dive through culture, entrepreneurship, business, travel, through the intersections of art. So today I have with me interior designer and photographer Aliya Logun.
Yes.
I really tried with the last name. I'm sorry.
No, you're doing great. That was good. That was good.
So how are you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
I am fantastic. So we're going to start off. I think a lot of people know you more as a photographer.
Yes.
But you are getting into the field of interior design. Or you're already in the field of interior design.
I am, yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a little bit of a game I call Chop Choices.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you I did research some phrases of interior design.
Yes.
And you're going to say which one you kind of prefer or which one you would go to more than the other.
Okay.
Okay, so biophilic design
Okay.
or earthy tones?
Definitely earthy tones.
And why?
I just love the neutrality with earthy tones, and I feel like they can go with anything that you're incorporating into your house. So definitely earthy tones.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is maximalism or sustainable materials?
This is so I can't even do both.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say a maximalism because I love vintage shopping. I love thrifting in that sense. So I feel like I am a hoarder in a sense. So a lot of things like catch my eye. So I lean more into maximalism for sure. Yeah.
And the next one is multifunctional furniture or vintage and antique types of pieces.
That's hard. I know I just said I love vintage pieces, but I do love modular furniture pieces as well, because you can switch them around, change it up. If you don't like the way one setup is, you can do something else afterwards. So I feel like as interior designers, we tend to like switch our spaces up so it looks different for the different seasons and all that stuff. So definitely modular. Yeah.
Okay, and the last one is minimalism
Okay.
or dark and moody interiors. I feel like these can kind of go along with the same.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
you're the
Yeah.
expert.
Okay. I feel like when we think of oh my gosh, see, that word is just so hard to say sometimes. Minimalism. I think of Kim Kardashian's house.
Okay.
It's just plain and boring, her white walls. Compared to dark and moody, I feel like I'm gonna go with dark and moody.
Dark and moody.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's go into that because I've been seeing on TikTok,
Yes.
people are like judging certain influencers. Their space. Oh, your whole place is just white. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And I remember one said that they are the color in the house, but the back. So that's what the back. So how, as an interior designer, like, if somebody was to come with you and like,
Yeah.
how would you navigate that? Or we just be like, that's what you want.
You know what? It's really interesting because my current client right now, she was going for a plain neutral palette. So you can really play it off by adding like monochromatic elements to it. So it's not like just plain white, because it's impossible to have a house that's just plain white.
Yeah.
That's just a blank slate. Like, that's very boring. So I feel like if you bring in your own personality in terms of like the color of your couches even, or like your furniture pieces, if it's like a different, like an off-white, like that can make a big difference compared to it just being like a plain white color. So honestly, just do whatever your heart desires at the end of the day.
So a lot of interior design is like there's an empty space, and your job, I'm assuming,
Yes.
is to come in and create that space and make it something that is not what it was before. Like it's like kind of like a painter has a blank canvas and you come in and you fill in that space.
Exactly.
What's that process like for you? Seeing an empty space and filling it in.
I feel like the first question is like, when I'm asking a client, is like, what do you want the space to look like? What do you want to feel when you're entering the space? So for me, we always go first color. So I feel like that's just like the main point that kind of speaks to all the surroundings of the house is color. And I guess even just plain white works too. So I feel like color is the first thing that goes on, and then everything else just kind of adds on to it because you can play around with those colors and add it on to the different areas of your house. So yeah, color. Yeah.
Okay, so I dug deep.
Okay, you're digging deep.
I went to find a proverb.
Oh,
yes, because you know West Africans, our parents always like proverbs.
Yes,
they want to add a chicken, a bird, an animal. I don't know why, but I mean, I guess because we have those animals. So I went and found a Yoruba proverb.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to read it in Yoruba, even though I have it here. But I'm going to say it in English, and I want you to interpret what youth means to you, the person. Yeah. And please, if you know what this means, don't come and just relax. This is what it would mean to her, and then I'm also going to say what I think it means
for yourself,
or also what the Google has told me.
Google has all the answers. So yes.
So the translation is the sky's eye is different from the eye of a bird, and the eye of a bird is different from the sky's eye. Give us the wisdom.
The wisdom. Okay. That's a really good one. I kind of want to hear it how it sounds in Yoruba. I'm not even gonna stress you. I'm never gonna stress you. It's fine.
Do you speak Yoruba?
I do.
And you understand it fully?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time,
okay, that's really good. I feel like it means that we interpret things very differently, or we see things differently compared to another person. So the way you perceive something is different from the way I perceive it, or the way you see it is different from the way I see it. So like I said, like going back to interior design, if I'm going to a space, the way the client might see their space is different than the way I'm looking at it. Especially with the ideas that they're coming at me with. It's like, okay, this is how your space should look. And then compared to them, be like, okay, well, I want all this. But it's like, it wouldn't work. But I guess it's just the way you perceive things differently.
You're spot on.
Yeah. I feel like that's what it is.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're spot on. I don't even have to dig into that. You got it right.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so let's talk a bit more about photography. How long have you been doing photography now?
I'm going to be 5 years this year.
And how would you say has the journey been so far?
Challenging. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of learning curve that comes with photography because there's so many different things you can apply and learn. People just think it's like clicking the shutter speed and it's like, okay, we're done, where you get the photos. But no, there's so more that goes into it. Even just us being as creative, there's so many things that we're thinking about before we even talk to a client or do a shoot. There's just so much to it. It's challenging.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a 5 senses question.
Okay.
So this question is, how do we phrase this? So whether, let's say you were to close your eyes or you were in really deep thought.
Okay.
And maybe it's a place that it's already existing or it's a place that you kind of create.
Okay.
So using your 5 senses, we can go through them one by one.
Okay.
Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching.
Yes.
So what would you say you're seeing?
Ooh, like right now?
Yeah, so if you were deep in thought or your eyes were closed and you've created that world or you're in that world or the world exists, what would you be seeing?
I feel like whenever I think about this, my mind goes back to how heaven would look like. And I feel like it's something I don't know. This is an interesting question. The way I sense is that calmness and that peace.
Okay.
But also the way it would smell or feel would just, I don't know what it is. What's that word where, see, now my brain is stuck. But I just feel like it would be so airy and so light and bright.
So the feeling would be light and bright.
Yes.
And then what you would see is would it be cloud? Because heaven.
So
it's clouds.
Clouds for sure.
Angels.
Even just animals or just roaming, flowers, lots of natural elements in there.
So would flowers be maybe the smell?
Smell, definitely smell. Yeah.
Smell flowers.
Yeah.
And then
nature.
Yeah. And then so we've done seeing, touch. What is touch? No, what is touch?
Touch.
What would that?
What would it be touch?
Yeah. Maybe it's something since you said heaven, something that you would touch in heaven.
Whoa.
And how would that
feel? what would I even touch in heaven? I feel like
Right.
everything
That's a
is
deep
there. Ooh, I'm not sure. That's a really good one though. What would I touch?
Is it like, what was like one thing other than, I mean, you said animals.
Yeah.
So maybe you'd be
Like the
animal?
texture?
Yeah,
of,
maybe like the texture of the animal.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yes, that's cool.
Or like just feeling how an angel will feel like. Can I just touch?
Yeah, because it's like such a, yeah, okay,
yeah,
that's true.
That's
true.
interesting.
Okay, so with both photography and interior design,
Yeah.
there's a lot of, I feel, personal style.
Yeah.
Because every designer and every photographer has their own style.
Exactly, yeah.
Looking into like your own personal style, how would you say you include that in your work?
I love color, so I try my best to incorporate color in everything that I do. Even with interior design, I try to, I guess, move towards like eclectic work, I guess, feel. So more colors, very vibrant. So yeah, color for sure. Yeah.
So would you say it's color that kind of drew you into both photography and interior design?
I want to say yes, but I feel like a lot of it comes to storytelling. I feel like there's so many things you can, I guess, know about a person by coming to their house. I feel like a lot of personalities just burst in, but the minute you like walk into a space. So definitely storytelling and just, yeah, that's really it.
If you could create like your dream space, like you had your own time to create your dream,
The funds are needed for that.
Funds are needed, and you had all the funds, and you didn't have to think about funds. You would just,
it's already
ping,
there.
That's it.
Yeah.
What would we see in your face? In your space?
My space, yes.
So whether it's like color or what like elements that of your personal style would we see in there?
Definitely. Like I said, like a lot of colorful pieces, vintage for sure. Just really cool, original, even furniture, furniture pieces, accessories, like lots of different like elements into it. I just want to throw it in there because I feel like I see a lot of things differently, and I feel like a lot of things have meaning. So I would just pour that into my space, and I would just feel so at peace with that. So, yeah.
I feel like for me, I like neutrals, but I love to have a pop of color, and there's gonna be African elements.
Okay. No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
No
yeah.
doubt. So I feel like
100%.
even like from like the pillows to like the colors on the wall, there's gonna be those like.
So you like
essences.
natural materials and stuff?
Yeah, I like natural materials, but I'm also very bold in colors. But I feel like right now I'm in like this neutral era.
You're the plain white girl.
No, actually, it would be like I have to have accents and things.
Okay,
like I
for
love
sure.
gold, like this gold candle over here, like things like
little
that.
things like that. Just you want to add like a little pop
to elevate and pop it.
I love that. Yeah,
interior design is something that I feel like wasn't slept on, but I feel like
it's so slept on.
You're the expert. So like,
yeah,
I feel like now, especially with social media, people are like speaking more about it and the
100%.
importance of creating that space for yourself.
Right.
So when did you feel like, when did you know, hey, like I've been doing photography for this long, but interior design, I love this.
I was just telling your sister this actually. It's funny because that's always something that I've gravitated towards, especially when I was younger. Like I'm all over the house. I'm doing something, fixing it up, or I just love even when we were younger, we were used to like move around a lot. So I just love the idea of like going to show homes. Like that would excite me so much. It's like, oh my gosh, we're gonna look into something. This is so cool. And I love even like with our current house that we got right now. Like I still remember how it looked vividly and the whole setup. So I've been really drawn into design. I've been drawn into interiors for forever. So yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go a little bit into our culture corner.
Okay.
So you being Nigerian, would you classify as it Nigerian Canadian or
I don't even know.
You don't know. I feel like in Canada it's so different. I feel like other countries they have it down.
We're African American. Like okay.
Yeah, I feel like other countries have it down, and then there's us. It's like
we're just here.
Chilling. We're there. So, how would you say growing up? Did you grow up in Nigeria? Or you born here?
Yeah. No, I grew up there.
Okay. So, how would you say that has influenced like your photography and like what you look forward to in like interior design? How do you incorporate those elements?
It's a good question. I feel like I'm not there yet. Personally, I feel like I haven't really experienced my culture to the standards I want to reach, to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring this element into my work. I definitely want to go back and see the culture it is now, because what I have in the back of my head is like a 5-year-old. What do I know then? So I haven't reached that point where I'm like, okay, I know I have this background. Let me bring it into my work, because I haven't experienced it personally with myself. So yeah,
so
it'll come.
You said something about you just said something about like you feel like you haven't been in the culture deep enough. When, like, other than you going back, but like when you do go back potentially, what do you see as that thing that you'd be like, okay, now I'm in the thick of it. I feel like I'm culturally in tune.
Okay. That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like when I get there, I would know, because right now I'm thinking about it. I'm not too sure what that would be, what that would look like. But yeah, that's something I have to think about for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So being Nigerian, and you told your parents, Dad, I want to be a photographer. And then now you're like, I also want to do interior design. Yeah. How was that conversation?
Left and right.
What did that look like?
So I have a background in HR. That's what I did initially. So I did that for a whole year. That was not it for me. I just hate the corporate world. It's just not for me. So tell my mom I told her initially I wanted to do interior design, because like I said, I'm just been gravitated towards. So she was like, what? You know, that casual response of like, what do you mean? She's crazy. She'll think about it. She'll come back to me later and think of something else. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to HR instead and see how it is. Did not like it, obviously. But honestly, for me, what makes it easier is because my sister, she's an entrepreneur, so she does hair. So me coming to them like, hey, like, I kind of want to do this. They're like, oh, okay. We see your sister doing it, so why not? This is fine. This is normal. This is possible. Exactly. There's money there. So yeah, it kind of helps.
Okay. Yeah. So being around, like, your sister being an entrepreneur, and maybe you have friends in the creative space. Yeah. Let's dig into a little bit of community. How do you feel like community has helped you in your endeavors in like taking the plunge and taking the push to be like, you know what, like, I am going to take the first step, be a photographer, be a
Honestly, the community in Edmonton is so good. People will be surprised if they see Edmonton's like, oh, nobody supports each other. But it's the total opposite. I feel like if you're really trying to pursue something, they will back you up 100%. Especially if they see you doing the work, it just comes naturally to you. Especially now with photography, the African Center has been a really good help with like creatives and stuff, because they promote you in different ways with pop-ups and just like exhibits. Even I think 3 years ago I did an exhibit for IKEA, and that was through them. So that was an amazing opportunity. So yeah, the community here is so great. It's so underrated.
I feel like it's like probably the last month that like I re-understood the importance of community. Because I feel like community is something I ran away from for so long. I think because I felt like I put a lot in the community. Yeah. And then I got so hurt that I was like, bye.
No. Like, yeah, I get that.
No more. So what would you say to somebody? Maybe
you.
What, like, having that, being nervous or anxious about like going back into community.
Okay. I think it's just speaking about what you want to do and being confident in it. I feel like people will support you 100%. And when you start small, let it be your friends, and then they will put in the work to help you and support you. And I feel like that little small support can do so much, because then they will start putting your name out there. Like, oh, my friend does this and that, and it's like, okay. And you're like, oh, where are all these clients coming from? It's like that one person saying your name in like in the back end or in the secret place. That's how it comes. Okay. So yeah, it helps.
No, yeah. Community is more important than I think we realize.
Especially with Edmonton, like in a place like this, you need it.
You need it. You can't survive without it.
You can't survive without it.
Honestly. Okay, so I want to get into photography.
Okay.
So what was the moment that maybe you picked up a camera or you were like, I want to try this?
Why not? Okay. So I guess you can repeat the question.
Yeah, so what was that moment that maybe you picked up a camera or you really were like, this thing, photography, I want to do this?
Okay. A funny question, funny story actually. My mom was telling me, what are you going to do with your life? Pretty much like that kind of question. And she was like, well, your sister does hair, she cooks and stuff. And like my grandma does all sewing. She was like, so what can you bring to the table, you know? So I was like, okay, I can pick up a camera, because we kind of like had one in the house. So I just picked it up. My first shoot was actually my little brother. Okay. We did it like right in our backyard. So that was really cute. And I was like, okay, this is fun. Like I can do more with this. Like, why not? So did more shoots with him, because he's just so easy. Like kids are the easiest thing ever. But yeah, just after that, it kind of just like went, it sparked something, I guess.
Sparked something.
Yeah.
So, other than the photo shoot that you did with your brother,
Yeah.
what was the first photo shoot you ever had? What was that like?
Like a paid one?
Yeah, where the money resides.
The money resides. Ooh, my first ever photo shoot. I feel like it was, oh my good days. My first ever photo shoot. That's a good question. I feel like there's a lot of things coming to my head, but I might be wrong. But I think one of them was one of my sister's clients. She came up to me and she was like, I want to do a photo shoot. And we did it at this theater place. I'm not sure, but it's downtown. And I'm looking back at those photos now. They were horrendous.
But we all start from somewhere.
Oh, I know. I just feel like now if I went back there and told her, oh, let's do this again, it would be way better. But yeah, that's my first one. It was fun. It was challenging for sure. So yeah.
Like going back to that, like looking at past work, because I look at past work like
side eye.
what you doing?
Yeah.
But I think it's like a lot of people forget that like you graduate, like you evolve, you graduate, you
100%.
learn over time.
Yeah.
And it's like for me, I'm a perfectionist. Sometimes I'm like it has to be
this
way, and then I'm not starting it. But like it's important to like also start.
Yeah.
So you have something to give and to share, and then you grow in that process. So what would you say to somebody who's like a perfectionist and they just like or like me, you take a lot of content and you just never post.
Oof, that's a lot of people. So what would I say to a perfectionist?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or somebody who is just like, I want to pursue this creative endeavor, but like holding back at all costs.
I think the best advice is let yourself go. Just letting yourself take up space in that area that you're doing. Just letting the creativity flow, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. I feel like there's so many mistakes that you can make, but you learn from it and then you come back better. So yeah, just letting yourself go. Just let things flow. Don't stress too much.
I 100% agree. And sometimes even people will be like, but you
I know.
I think sometimes you just have to post and go.
Exactly.
You just have to like stop thinking about it so much and just like post and go.
But you know what's really interesting about that? The fact that Instagram has the schedule thing, it is your best friend.
It is.
You make your schedule, leave.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, why am I getting all these notifications? Like, oh, I posted something. And it's like, oh, okay, nice. So you just let it be. Don't even look at your phone.
Yeah.
Just close it and then go with your day.
Yeah. Keep it up. So getting back into, let's say like photography. Let's use photography for now. What would you say are like some dream projects that you would want to endeavor in? Because right now I see with like photographers.
Yeah.
Or like a lot of people who started during COVID, there was that time that people were doing like photo shoots on iPhone through FaceTime.
Yeah, through FaceTime,
Shout out to those people because I don't know how they did that.
No,
if
honestly.
it was me, I feel like I don't think I would look that great. But people were like on it.
Yeah.
So like, I'm kind of wondering like what are some endeavors you want to get into with photography that may not be traditional?
Oh, not traditional.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I feel like I want to do travel work. Like I want to go, I guess people already do this, like those crazy magazines, they already go to different countries and do it, but I don't know, I want to elevate it a little bit more and like incorporate the culture there.
Okay.
I feel like that's something I would want to do and push myself as a photographer now and do that. I don't know, maybe it's not out of the ordinary, but like I feel like everything's already been done. Let's be real in this life.
True, but I feel like things are kind of changing with like a lot of traditional careers. Like you could see a photographer can like work with like Adobe or like design or like they get pitched to do this like project.
That's true.
So I think there's like so many avenues that are non-traditional that a person can like get into. That's or like even working with brands or like creating workshops.
Yeah.
Like would you be interested?
Oh, for sure.
Because I feel like
back to Edmonton.
Shout out to you. You know you're good. But I feel like there should be some sort of like workshop or space where people can learn how to like edit dark skin tones.
Okay.
Because I feel like that is one thing that like maybe like 2017 when people were taking pictures of you and then you get the picture back, you're like,
now those days were embarrassing.
Like, why am I looking gray? You know?
Not gray.
Like I think it would be cool if like that would be, you know.
Do you still feel that way? Like right now, like I guess the editing. Okay, good.
I think there's like more photographers in the space. So some that are not even black that can edit dark skin tones.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think it was like a progression.
Oh, for sure. It took some time, for sure. But even like back to that, there is even like little shops like Canon, they do pop-ups and stuff or workshops that you can learn, just come in and do your thing. And there are a lot of things coming up now, like the Art for Peace. Do you know them? Sorry, Shoot for Peace. They do that right now. They're helping young entrepreneurs / photographers to teach them little things here and there about photography and how to elevate themselves in their business. So yeah, that's been cool. Yeah, there are things.
There's things.
It's coming up. Yeah,
So as a photographer and also obviously freelancing it and learning on the go, you've come across a lot of different people, whether it's clients or people who hire you or whatever. So I want to get, what are like your photography icks?
Oh, my icks.
What is that like? What, like, well, maybe let's list 4.
Okay.
What are those things that you're like, come on now?
Ooh, I think my biggest ick is when they want me to modify or change the way they look.
Oh, okay.
Like that's Photoshop. An ick for me. Yeah, like, if they want like really intense Photoshop, it throws me off. I don't know why. Like I feel so bad for them because like, why don't you see yourself in that way? I don't know. Like, why would you want me to do something more to your face? Like
so extreme.
Like you're fine. So that's an ick for me. When clients want their photos the next day, that's a major ick for me. Like, come on. We just shot this like 24 hours ago. Another ick. I'm an understanding person, so things don't really piss me off or I guess throw me off as much. So I guess another ick would be clients being late. Yeah. I'm gonna say that's my top 3.
Top 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I dug into some more photography.
You're doing your research.
Terms. I feel like there's not a lot of information out there. And like you said, a lot of people may not respect the profession. Maybe there's not enough interior designs. People feel they can do it themselves.
Okay, that's fair.
So these are some of the couple terms. Some I don't even understand. But you're gonna explain this to me.
Oh no. Okay.
So that people can kind of understand.
Right. Okay.
It and maybe like explain it to like what it means in their home or like what it means in their space, so that like us people who are not there yet can kind of understand.
Yeah, for sure.
Molding. What is molding?
Molding.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. How do I break this down? It's like
so the definition
baby
I have
words.
Here, it says like leveraging decorative molding to enhance the visual appeal of like elements within a space.
How can I like baby this down? Can I get another one? This one is, I guess, it's like a decorative element that you can add to your space. So like they have crown moldings. So imagine like back to, what kind of century would this be? Like
not a century.
Like back in like the 1800s, like they had the most decorative, intense moldings, like on their ceilings.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be that's a crown molding. So like something decorative, something that could like elevate your space a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is timeless.
Timeless.
So like timeless pieces that can stand the test of evolving trends.
Okay. That's what it is. It's you can use it forever. It can always be, I guess, not trending, but it's always gonna be something that's, how can I say this? The word is there and it's leaving my mouth. It's a piece that's always gonna be here forever. It's timeless. It's always gonna be there. Like you can never go out of trend. That's what it is. Okay. So what is a timeless piece?
What would you say is like a timeless piece?
Definitely leather furniture. It can never go. It's always going to be here. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the next, I feel like this word, everybody uses it, is curated.
Okay.
Because people use it also for other creative terms.
Curated pieces.
Curated.
Okay. I want to say personal. Yeah.
Like close and like to you.
Yes, close to you for sure. Yeah.
Okay, the next word is reclaim.
Reclaim. So, okay.
I was gonna give you a little definition if you're not sure, but if you know this, we're good.
Okay, reclaim. They use this mainly for furniture.
Okay.
So reclaim pieces or furniture that's been like down like the drain, like that's been messed up. So wait, am I getting this wrong? Getting this mixed up with something else?
It says reclaim is embracing sustainability. Reclaiming materials into your designs.
Okay.
Sort of.
I guess there's 2 different definitions for that. Give me another one.
Okay, so the next one is restraints.
Restraints?
So it says balancing variety in a space that requires restraints. So how do you achieve like a harmonious balance when incorporating different elements?
Oh, I like that one. I think just going back to what I said about color, definitely you can utilize that for sure. Making everything harmonious, making everything work together. Especially if it's like different pieces from different times, you can definitely use color to bring that back. Yeah.
Okay. So next one is cool colors.
Cool colors.
Cool colors. Shout out to Google. So this is saying like cool colors can influence the atmosphere of a room.
Okay. Oh yeah, cool colors, like warm cool colors. Okay. Even the light that you're looking up right now is a cool color. So there's blue.
So blue is also considered.
Yeah.
So what would red be considered as?
Red is warm for sure.
Warm.
Yeah.
And orange would be warm too, because it's like the same.
Yeah.
What about green?
Green is definitely cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of like color theory.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next one is focal points.
Ooh, okay.
You need a definition or you got
No, we're good. Okay, think about it like this. Something that catches your eye the minute you walk in, that's your focal point.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a nice art piece or a cool, like, crazy antique piece that's like just on your, I don't know, just in the middle, like in this section, like right here, like this table could be like your focal point, or just like a nice art piece could be your focal point too. Yeah.
The next one is a negative space.
Ooh, it's all around us, girl.
So like, how does someone like balance that in design?
There's so many ways you can use negative space. And for me, I feel like you shouldn't fill up every space on your wall.
Okay.
There should definitely be some breathing room. So in your walls. So like right now, what can you see behind me? I guess there's not much for negative space. I can use as an example.
I mean, like in between, like, I think yours, okay, actually.
Yeah, mine for sure, I can see negative space. So all the art, I guess, what are these? I'm not too sure what they are, but they're aligned like this, but above the wall, there's negative space there.
And then below.
Below, yeah.
So it's like cohesive. It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
just like all put together.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is texture.
Ooh, texture. I think of texture, I think the first thing that comes is pillows. Especially when you have like a neutral, simple furniture piece, definitely having some accessories or just like soft furnishings that have texture to kind of bring that space to life. Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been in this interior design space?
Realistically, it's been a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been dabbling into it for a year or so. And right now I work with a contractor, so I help them with some of the designs as well. A lot of commercial and residential. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while,
I
I
think of
guess.
interior designers, I think of real estate where they have like, I don't know if they use interior design for that.
Well, they would have to
set up.
Exactly. They have to do staging for that.
Staging for that. So is staging a part of interior design?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So could you walk us through like, what's like a day in the life of you on the interior design side?
Okay. I'm going to use my work as an example. I feel like it's not that interesting.
No, but I think it's interesting because, like you said, it's like a field that people don't respect as much or see the importance of.
Okay.
So I think you letting people know like what it looks like.
Right, okay.
So it could be like, do you start meeting with a client, then you're like talking mood boards, or are you not a mood board person?
For sure. I guess, I can give you like a rundown of how the process kind of works. So we meet up with the client, talk to them, what they want, all that stuff. And then we set up a mood board to see what kind of feel they would want for their space. Then afterwards, we do sample boards where it's like more in detail of what their space will actually look like. And then we do furniture selections as well. So that's what we're actually incorporating into their actual space. So it's not just like, oh, these are just random ideas. No, this is what we're actually using for your space. And then we go out for sourcing materials, sourcing everything in between from the furniture, from just everything really. Even like the color that we use, like we go into that. And then, we go to different trades, meet up with them to get everything in order. And it's a lot of intense work. A lot of driving around, I would say. So
you have to go and look for things. And
exactly.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's go into some myths.
Okay.
So what are some myths that people have about interior designers, or maybe it's not as in a wide scope, but just like you've noticed that like are not true?
Okay. That they're not needed. simple. That's a big one.
Okay.
Because then you like when you even like think about it for staging, for instance, when you go in there, who do they think is gonna do that? Who do they think is making them like imagine like how they would be living in that space? Like who do they think is doing that for them? So that's what it is. That's really what it is. So yeah, reimagining people's spaces. Yeah, I really like that.
So next up is, how is it like client wise when you're working with a client? Maybe they're new to interior design, but they think they know everything. They think they know what goes here, what's that, but they're like, they want your opinion, they're paying you, but they're like, but this should go here, this should go there.
Yeah.
Well, how do you kind of navigate when working with that so that they can like, I don't mean it like they have to show you respect, because obviously they should, but like what like how do you navigate that?
For me, I think of it as the needs and wants. So they have all these wants that they want in their space, but in reality, that they just need to go back and think about the needs they need for their space. So for us, we'll come in and be like, hey, like you don't really need this. This won't really work. But then maybe give them a second opinion, thinking, hey, this might actually work better. They're like, oh, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. Because at the end of the day, all these things that they want in their space are wants, like I said. They just wants. You just want to fill it up with like things that they think they like.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it's not gonna work out or be cohesive with everything else that's gonna be in their space. So
Okay.
yeah.
So when people are looking to hire an interior designing, which is you, of course, that's all you're hiring.
Yes.
What kind of questions do you think they should come with?
Okay.
So that it can make like your process easier.
Okay. What questions they should come with? I think the one question is, how long is this process going to take? So I think people think it's going to be like, quick, we're done. But there's so much time and effort that goes into it, especially when it comes down to like furniture selections. It's a lot of work. It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
So definitely their time frame is what they should be asking first.
Okay.
Payment for sure, because people have budgets, but they're not reasonable budgets. So,
and it costs more than they think it should cost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like it's really best for them to do their own research beforehand, or before even just like asking someone to help them with their space. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it just comes down to budget and what they pretty much want. So yeah.
Question. So you know a little bit about me, but you don't know much.
Yes.
If you were to create a space for me, let's say I want a personal office.
Okay. Yeah.
What kind of colors, textures, elements, like obviously we're thinking, would you like create for me? Just from what you know so far.
Okay, from our conversation, you said you like neutrals right now, but you also like a pop of color. I like that. So for an office space, I would definitely make, see, I don't want to make the space overwhelming. So I'll make your walls neutral for sure.
Okay.
But then when we go to accessories and like soft furnishings, I would definitely add the pop of color that you would want.
Okay.
And then make like, maybe like the table that you would use for your for your office would be like a nice neutral wood table. I feel like that'd be really good. And even for the chair, that could be a pop of color as well, like a nice vibrant like orange like you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
Like a nice pink, like a very soft but very feminine. Like I feel like that's you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do. And some artwork, and I feel like that's you. You gravitate to a lot of art,
I
a lot of things like that.
Gravitate to a lot of art.
I would
So
definitely add in some art in there. Even like if it's like more what am I gonna say? Like local art for sure. That'd be really cool. Or even just like a personal that you like from your travels, or just like where you know, places like that, like from your background, like from Ghana or Nigeria, things like places like that. I would bring that into your space as well, so you can feel, you know, like you're at work, but not too much, where you're overwhelmed by the space. So yeah, that's what I would do.
Yes. You, don't worry. Even when I live out the country, I will FaceTime you and we will do the interior design.
Don't kill me.
For sure. So going back a little bit into culture, what maybe it's like what cultures or what pieces or spaces have you been inspired by that like have and add cultural elements? Maybe you can name like whether it's maybe you visited this place and you saw this and it was like, oh God, I'm going to keep this in mind. Yeah. Or
I feel like personally, I go off of culture and I see like what people use that will make sense to them.
Okay.
Because when I went to Italy, that was like one of the first thing I'm like, people live so differently. And I love the way people in Italy use the different like natural pieces that they have within like their surroundings, or just like just natural elements that they have in Italy. I love how they incorporate that into their space. So that's really cool. I feel like sometimes, I feel like I'm missing the question, but say the question again.
Yeah, for sure. It's like what cultural elements maybe you've seen or heard, or something that inspired you, like, wow, I saw this here and it's from this culture that I really like, and I want to incorporate that into maybe a project I have or into like your own personal spaces.
Okay, yeah. No, just going back to that, like different cultures like that I saw in Italy and like how they design their homes. Like it's way different from the way that we design here. We're very, I won't say farmhouse here in Edmonton, but it's like, all the words are like leaving my mouth right now.
It's okay. But maybe you mean like we're not bold.
Exactly. I love the colors that they use in Italy. Like I feel like they should incorporate that here. Like make it more lively, make it more seem like, oh, people actually live in this house, not just like a plain black white brick.
But I think also that goes to show like how different places and different people, their environments like show and impose what they put in their space.
Exactly.
So like with Alberta, you know, I mean, I was gonna say another province with grass, but let's not go there. Here maybe people are looking for more, like you said, that barn vibe. Yeah. Or like, I don't want to say I don't know why, but I guess like the area that we're in also influences what we take in when we look at space.
That is true.
So I feel like that people don't really think about that, and I think that's something to definitely think about, because that's what like drives you. That's what inspires you.
The thing is, like with that, every culture is different, so we're not gonna do the same thing everywhere else. Like there has to be, it just has to be different. I feel like regardless.
Yeah, I think it's also like in what influences you too. So like maybe you come from a certain culture and certain elements you want to put into your space, even if you're living somewhere else or in a different country.
No, for sure. Okay.
So we've come to the part where you get to ask me questions.
Okay.
It could be a question or two, depending on how much for you. But yes, free reign. I don't even
let me know how
many
questions I can ask you.
Let's go with 2.
Alrighty. This might seem like a very like HR question, but like, what do you like most about your job?
Like working in socials?
Yeah.
Backstory. I was a Tumblr girly.
Ooh, yes.
2020, not 2020. 16, 17.
Okay, that was like peak
Tumblr era. Yeah, I just remember one day, like I was just on the app. Like I just got addicted to it. It's to the point where Tumblr would even tell me like I can't post anymore.
Oh, really?
Like that's how bad it was for like a good year.
I know they could do that.
And I just remember like going from 100 followers to like 8,000. And then like now it's like 42.
Wow.
And this is like before like social media became what it is. Yeah. Because I feel like Tumblr is the original Twitter.
Oh, 100%.
So I just loved like engaging in conversations. A lot of it was like culture themes, as I love, but it was like self-care, self-development, or like history, which I also love. Just learning about people, and that is like really what got me into social media. Because I was like, this thing that I'm doing, and I'm on the phone all the time.
You might as well turn into something.
There has to be a career for it. So one of like there's a documentary filmmaker that I follow, and I was kind of like looking through her LinkedIn. I was like, what did she do to get to where she is now? And it said social media. I was like, I'm doing it. So
I'm already here. So why not?
So it was like, it just kind of worked and made sense. Right now I'm at a point where like I really love the strategy side.
Okay, that's awesome.
I really love like consulting. I tell you what to do, you do it.
Okay.
But like I really love the strategy side of it. I really love to think of different concepts, different ideas. And like bridging them together and putting them together. So I would say that's what I love about my job. I think there's like no limit to what you can come up with.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's endless.
Yeah, it's endless. But even though like everybody's like, oh, social media, anybody can be a social media manager, which to a certain extent can be true.
Right.
But there's certain elements, and I think it teaches you a lot of things because you can delve into marketing.
Yes.
You can like look into like diversity and inclusion, like who is on socials majority of the time. It gives you like a little bit of psychology, like how people think, how they feel, sociology, like how people interact. So even though it might seem like, okay, like it's social, there's so many different aspects of it.
Right. Okay. No, I like that. That's really fascinating. I never thought about it like that, especially with Tumblr. Like, you're like, I can do more with this. No, that's awesome. I think my second question was related back to culture. I guess, how do you bring that into what you're doing now?
I feel like I struggle with that.
Okay.
If I'm working on like my own personal projects, then I feel like I can bring those elements.
Okay.
But I'm at the point where I feel like I want to involve that more, but it's like how?
Right.
Because I feel like right now, no judgment to anybody, but there's a lot of like content surrounding like Africans in the diaspora and like how they don't fit in back home.
Yeah.
And which is great because that
That's
content
how I
is
feel
needed.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I always feel like, what can we make that's different?
Right.
And I think like I was talking to somebody back home and they were talking about like, oh, but like if you're in Canada, US, you get these grants, you can do this. But it's like some of the content is not the same if it's not filmed on the continent.
true.
Like you can't like evoke the palm trees.
Oh.
Like, you know, in a different space. Like you can try.
You can try,
because
but
I think,
it won't be the same.
exactly. Like I
Yeah.
think there's a portion of being African here in Canada or in the States that like, it's true. Like if you think about something like the grocery stores we go to that like you buy your certain foods and stuff. If
Yeah.
you think about like certain cultural events, like there's things that we have done to like preserve our culture.
Yeah.
But there's also certain things that like I feel like just works on the ground.
That is true.
Like I feel like there's a certain different energy, there's a certain
Yeah.
different feel. And I feel like here there has been like movements to like get that and people
We're getting
have,
there, yes.
But I feel like being on the ground, like there's nothing like being on the ground.
Okay. No, I like that. That's awesome. Wait, I just had one more question.
Yes,
So
go.
since you're a creative as well, so what other things have you delved into that's creative that kind of like sparks your creativity more compared to like what you're doing now?
Well, writing,
Okay, love that.
like the journalistic side. I went to school for journalism.
Okay.
That was always a part of me, but I've always been very interested in like artistic directing, creative
okay.
directing.
Yeah.
That's like the thing is like branding is like huge to me. I
okay.
love like breaking down a brand, building a brand, figuring out like the elements of a person and then like drawing that
Okay.
together. I think coming back to like culture, I think I'm like,
Yeah.
if we take this certain thing that we're already using and maybe it's not owned by us, how can we like put us on the
Right.
forefront? Like I think I always look into that way. So that's like a project that's on my heart to
Okay.
kind of get and navigate us into that space.
That's awesome.
So I don't know if that answers the question.
No, you're good. That was really good. I like that. It's making me think, so that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on the show
problem.
today. So this has been Chop It Up with Lebene. We have been here with Aliya Logun.
Yes.
And she's a photographer and interior designer. Can you let people know where they can find you?
My interior design page is in the works, so that's for later. But you can follow me at Aliya Lo Photography on Instagram. And, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.